Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Cardano Artist Corner. I'm one of your hosts, Brian of GAIA Stakepool. Today, we also have with us your host, Alfred of Hotel Stakepool, and our guest acclaimed photographer, Bryant Austin from Carmel, California. Bryant is famous for his stunning life-size photographs of whales. You can also help preserve the world's whale species by making a donation to savethewhales.org today. And if you like our videos, please give this one a free thumbs up. It really helps us get our videos out there to more viewers. Also, please hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you'll always know when we post a new video, the latest from the Cardano art world. You can also support the podcast by delegating to Stakepools, Hotel, and GAIA. Let's get started.
Okay, Brian, so I thought I would give for the viewers a synthesis of what this interview is about. So you're a photographer, you're mostly known for your work with whales. As a matter of fact, you're considered to be like the #1 photographer of whales in the world. And then some time ago, for a variety of reasons, you chose to do other work, right? But now you're feeling a little bit nostalgic, so you're hoping to go back to working with whales. So tell us, where did it all begin? When did you pick up photography, and what triggered your interest in whales specifically?
Wow, that's a big question, Alfred. Whales have been a part of my life since I was a child. I never saw a whale, and when I was a child, I think I saw a dolphin when I was 6 or 7. Resonate with me. They have a gravity to them that I'm just drawn to. It pulls me in without choice. I've been a painter most of my childhood and into my teenage years. And I always got stuck with painting, and I would always burn myself out. And I think part of it too was, as a young person, I had no life experiences, and I never left my own home state of California. You know, I had a very sheltered, boring life. You know, and a part of me snapped, and I thought I just had this moment where I was so depressed and felt a life without fulfillment or any kind of, I don't know, wonderment. And I snapped and became friends with a gentleman named Jonathan, who became my mentor and taught me the art of base jumping. And we base jumped together for a couple of years. And that's when I started to wake up to photography. And so I started, photographing people jumping off of buildings and cliffs and, things of that nature. It's very compelling. And it was just a fun way to start that, create camera as the tool. And my Jonathan passed away. I watched him die on a base jump, and that changed my life. And I decided I could never risk my life for fun anymore, like in that way. And part of what I do now with whales is really honoring my passion, the passions and connections I had as a child, and honoring that and staying true to that and who I am now, but also staying true to Jonathan and his adventurous spirit. And I just want to live a life that he would have been proud of, and wanted, to know that he passed that on. I don't know if he handed on to going, so that's the long answer. And, it's been a 30-year journey.
So then what is the fascination with whales specifically? And why not also include like other sea animals? Where did the whales come from?
Well, that's another big question, like why do I love whales? Well, they're still mysterious to us, and, there's so much we don't know yet, and we look to the stars, and we have no curiosity for what's out there in the ocean right now. waiting for us to wake up, to what's out there and wanting to protect what's out there, especially for future generations. Yeah, so I don't feel that we're alone. I've spent enough time with whales. I've had enough experiences with them to know, to really get a good feel for their consciousness, their self-awareness, their intelligence. These are highly complex social animals. They possess the largest brains ever to exist on Earth. Sperm whales in particular have the largest brain ever to exist on Earth or the known universe. It's over seven times the size of our own. They are complex social animals with complex forms of communication that we're not smart enough to understand yet. And they've been shaping this culture and communication for over 7 million years in their modern form. And the idea of losing that in our lifetime is really what compels me to find a way to connect us to what's out there and to connect us in a way that makes us care,
So, what does it take to be a photographer of whales? What is the process of getting to be one-on-one with a whale?
These are big questions. I don't know. It's a small pool of photographers that do it full time. There's a lot of ways you can do it. You would have to take a lot of risks initially. You would have to you would have to save up a lot of money, borrow some money, do whatever you can, and then just start getting out there. If you want to create good work, like if you want to be a competitive editorial photographer of whales and dolphins, you're going to need to charter boats yourself. You cannot do groups. If you do groups, you'll never get what you're looking for.
Right.
So that's where the prices start to go up. That's the basics. And then you get your work out in the world. It's different now with social media. I started before social media, and my social media presence is just for fun. It's just to share with people I know, people I actually physically met, or people I met virtually, such as today. So that would be like where you start. If you want to do it as an art form, where it's more experimental, man, I wish you the best. That's what I've been doing for the last 15 years. It's really hard work. People say I'm so brave to do this work, but no, it would take a lot more courage for me to go back to my previous job and do something like I used to do.
Sure.
That would take a lot more fortitude than what I do now. So it's worth the risk. But I think that's the point of like what I do. I think there needs to be more of us out there doing work of this nature, where we're taking risks. We're not physical risks, but like just and sadly it has to be financial risk, but we're taking risks to try new things that may not work, and make lots of mistakes, fail a lot, learn, go find something that really makes their consciousness more evident through photography. And there's
that brings us to the next sub question. So can you just sort of describe the process of what it takes to get one-on-one with a whale, to be in his presence and to be able to to photograph a whale?
Yeah, so the way I work with whales is really counterintuitive to my field. I make life-size portraits, so they're highly detailed life-size portraits, and it took me 5 years to figure out how to really do it. And part of the process, I don't know, I could jump in so many different areas of this process, but like, first of all, like you need to spend at least 5 weeks with a group of whales, ideally months, like 3 months, if you can, with a group of whales. And this gives you the depth of time, possibly for individuals to come to know you. To make a life-size photograph, the whale has to be less than 2 meters from the camera, or less than 6 feet. Ideally, definitely like 1.75 meters, very close. You use a medium format camera.
So if the whale comes too near to you, you say, "Oh, back off."
Yeah, sometimes I have to push off of them, and this is the counterintuitive thing about my work is people often say, "Oh, it's so amazing what you do. I'd love to join you." And I work likely to come up to you, and I wait for whales to come up to me. And I tell people my work is really boring, actually, because I will get in and out of the water 25 times a day, observing whale behavior, assessing if this is a good potential close encounter event with a whale. And when I find circumstances look good, I just get in the water and I float. Sometimes I have to swim 200 meters to get to within visual of them. I'm still pretty far away from them, but we can see each other underwater. And I float, and I'm on snorkel only. I'm by myself, and I just meditate. I breathe. I just really get into a really relaxed state, and I just hang and I just watch them. Mm-hmm. And 95% of the time, nothing happens. But what I'm doing is creating space. I'm giving them space to explore their own natural curiosity of me, any curiosity they may have. The reason why it's so important that I do that, because if I just swim up to them, I can get a photo, but most likely they'll leave. And that's it. And often you get these weird expressions where they're just like this, like, hey, what are you doing? And that's not very compelling. It's not going to inspire people. So the whole reason I do that is because when they do decide to come up to me, those encounters have been as short as 10 seconds and as long as 6 hours. And then on top of that, I've been with one whale for 6 hours in one day. And then I saw her again the next day, the next day, and the next day for 5 days, each day, 4 to 6 hours a day. And I made my second largest full body composite of a photo of a whale featuring her. So really, when you work in this way, you're cultivating the potential for deep connections with your subject, like deep familiarity with each other. And like you get the new age crowd that'll say, hey, can you communicate with whales? And I say, yes, you can communicate with whales, and we all do it, and we may not even know it, but we're communicating intention, right? So if you jump in the water and just blast after a whale, you're communicating to that whale through physical behavior. You're saying, I'm really up in your face, and get a picture or whatever. Yeah. And I want to do something similar where I say, I'm interested in you, but I'm going to be over here. And I do that every day. If I can, I'll do it every day for months. And you get these really deep connections, and it translates beautifully through photography.
So most of your photography is in black and white. What's the reason for this? You think you'd ever explore your subject matter in color photography more?
Yeah. So a couple of things with black and white. I primarily work in black and white. Two main elements in my work, which sounds crazy, but I'm very sensitive to somethingness and nothingness. And when you're really sensitive to nothingness is a shadow. It's the night sky. It's just the absence of information, absence of light. And that gives the subject presence. And then how you work with the light on the subject just sort of sends that home. And black and white works really well with that sensitivity, for lack of a better word. I love color. I switched to color halfway through making my life-size portraits of whales because, when we see pictures of whales, we think they're blue, and it's usually because they're not close enough to the camera. And so they just kind of become monochromatic shades of blue. But what happened was as they came close to me, so close, I'm pushing off of them, and I'm getting these insane photos off around their eye. You see cross-hatching around their eye, like these fine lines, and you see their true color. They're these beautiful shades of like emerald green, and you're like, I've never seen these colors before, So, so I did. I made the decision to finish out the body of work in color, to just finish out this portion of my work in color. And I still experiment with color, but I want to work with color in a way that's unfamiliar to us. We're very numb to color right now, especially in photography with social media, all the saturated photos, tropical photos of the ocean, of whales and dolphins, and we're very numb to it. So I have to be very careful when I go back.
Is it mostly photographs? Do you also make the old video?
With my new body of work featuring the sun and features on Earth, I've done with the still photography. I finished that body of work with the release of my new book, and we're now filming. So all the events that I photographed in stills are now being captured in video, and they're really exciting. These are it's really hard to describe, but we'll release a short film eventually. And it's just Earth, and you see Earth spin. You see the sun in the center of the frame, and you see features moving across
Mhm.
And you'll see people walking with the sun as it moves across an earth. I mean, it's just really out there.
Mhm.
And then when I return with whales, I like to start filming. I think it's really important. There needs to be some good storytelling. I think we're starving for some really good storytelling with whales, the research that's being done on them, what people can do to help protect them, like simple things you can do in your day-to-day life. Really good storytelling, a big part of that. So that's something I look forward to in the coming years, especially being a part of the Cardano community now.
Mhm.
So you came to a moment in your life when you decided to take a step back from your journey
Yeah.
with whales. What happened to make you make that decision, and what are you currently
Well,
doing
yeah,
now?
I had spent 12 years of my life full time to make 14 life-size portraits. And, there are some that they're 3 by 11 meters, and after I completed that 12 years, I spent another 3 years just really cultivating connections with museums, galleries, exploring ways that I could get back in the field. And so for 3 years, I was just doing the business part. I wasn't creating anymore. And I just noticed that my health was starting to deteriorate. I wasn't happy anymore. Towards the end of this time, my father had passed away. I was with him by his side when he passed away. And that really his passing kind of touched me in the same way Jonathan passed his passing, where they just light a fire under you. It's like, God, what am I doing with my life? It's so short and precious. And then a few months later, I had a really bad reaction to a prescription medication. I was having some issues, dietary issue or digestion issues, and it's a long story, but it sent me to the emergency room. And so that close call just really gave me pause. And I just thought, I want to create every day.
Mhm.
And, with the whales, I was only creating, even when you are with the whale in the field at sea, the real magical moments where you're creating, it's only a few minutes to an hour a year, and I wanted to create every day. And I felt that, there's a lot of pluses for doing that. So I started with the sun. So that's where it started. And it started from a very childlike, playful place. I wasn't trying to do anything special or be original. I just wanted to create and have fun. And what that does is that opens the door to discovery. Or it was things unfolded that I could never imagine. And I'm so grateful for that pause. I took a 5-year pause to create that work.
You've just released a new book. So could you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so it's just a labor of love. It's this book is really important to me for other reasons, not for selling on the mass market or anything like that. It was made by the Dots Museum of Art in Seoul, Korea. These are handmade books. Only 300 were made. And it captures really the last 5 years of my work with the sun. But the book is entitled Sun, Water, Being, and it touches upon those 3 elements. And what I found through my work in the last 15, 17 years is when you can effectively bring those 3 elements together, there's an invitation to connect with presence. And it dramatically changed who I am.
Next question. So you've told us that in spite of this new chapter and new experience in your life, that you're yearning to go back to the whales, right? So
Right.
what will it take to be able to do that?
I mean, I could start today, just from everything that's happened with Cardano, and but I want to be really careful, and so I'm probably going to wait another year and just see if if just with staking rewards I can do a sustainable sea, because that's the goal, is finding a sustainable return that could last a lifetime. And it's not something that it's not that it benefits me, it's that I can now become a storyteller again and start communicating a reality that's missing from our consciousness. And so I would think that I'm going to start next year. I'm going to start modest. So I used to do some really crazy expensive projects that created great work, but it's just not sustainable, and I don't want to do that again. I want to find a way to get there sustainably, and I believe it's possible. So I'm looking at like going to Alaska, Princess, when you have a setting sun for hours in the middle of the night, and you bring that together with whales and explore the three elements, sun, water, and being. And probably I'll spend some time in the Caribbean with the Atlantic spotted dolphins and exploring again those three elements of sun, water, being with them. Dolphins allow you a lot more opportunities. Whales are shy and they take more time. So I like to just really kind of do this rapid discovery of the three elements with dolphins and bring that to whales as things get more sustainable. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that it's possible to create NFTs on the Cardano blockchain. Is that something you'd be interested in doing?
You know, I find the space exciting, and I just thought my initial impression was not to force it, right? Just, you know, wait till you feel inspired, wait till you can connect with people organically, just such as how we're connecting right now, and really take small steps and see if this is something that the community might respond to. And so, yeah, it excites me in that way. I'm just thinking about like this decade. I mean, this decade could very well be the most profound renaissance in human creativity in the entire history of humanity. There are so many tools, and so I just feel like we're on the cutting edge of it, and it's exciting to just be a part of it in the early stages and see where it goes. So yeah.
Well, as a final remark, you know that if you were to put the photographs of the whales on the blockchain, it will immortalize the whales, because the blockchain is supposed to last forever. So have you thought about that at all?
That's a beautiful idea. And yeah, Alfred, there's, you know, one of the ideas I've had, this is something I would want to work slowly up to. I don't, but like, you know, you can make my full body life-size photographs are originals. So there's only an edition of one print and one artist proof that I keep for museum shows. So I can do group shows. I can group them together for future shows. But to do an NFT of a full body like this one back here, the 6-meter version that's bigger than this, you know, so it would be the physical print for the NFT, but then the NFT, the digital side of it is this, and you can't really see it on, like if you had it on your phone, you would see like that much of the whale of the whale. So you would see this much of the whale at a time, and you can just scroll along its body forever until you find the eye. Oh yeah, there's the eye. You know, these eyes are so detailed, you could see into the pupil and see the rods, you know, illuminated by the sun. These are, you know, it's something, yeah, you want for future generations. You know, it's a real possibility we may lose several whale species in our lifetime, and you know, we want something on record is what we allow to lose in our lifetime. So hopefully that won't happen, but I think it's a great way to share with the community. Yeah.
Well, Bryant, it was wonderful having you on and having you talk about your incredible artwork. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brian.
Likewise, it was a pleasure meeting you both. Brian again, Brian number 2 for the first time. So, and really looking forward to turning this into something special with the Cardano community.
Thank you, Alfred. This is, you know, beyond any of my expectations. I've just been kind of vicariously following the community on Twitter. It's been fun just at that level. This is like a whole nother level that I didn't expect, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity. Thank you, Alfred. And thank you, Brian.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.